Mutations. After the story 10, characters 6, everything else even lower, war game known as Chrome Wolf, I needed a palate cleanser from the tried and true developers of EXE-Create with my latest title, Sword of Elpisia. Elpisia? I doubt that. Elpisia? Fancy? Not much backstory at the beginning, but your main character, upon a task of fixing a village's monster repellent, somehow still broken through by something called a variant. Particularly nasty one who, upon hearing the mayor of said village saying that, quote, he wanted the power to fight monsters, and gets wishmastered into becoming a sword himself. That must have hurt like hell. Mayor's son in a panic says, we only wanted to protect the village, and gets sworded too. Aldo bravely fights it off, sending it away before any significant damage takes said swords with it as it vanishes. At least this game's taking the one thing Chrome Wolf got right in more of the show not tell aspect at the beginning. I'm not sure if that's actually true, if they got it from that. I've long since given up trying to do these reviews in order of release at this point, especially when Android usually gets these first, and more of them than PSN at this point. You begin as a quest taker and Magitool repairman Aldo, who quickly finds a dog to fight alongside battles for. Your first pet, more on that when I talk gameplay. In the aftermath of the village attack, you come across a girl named Alice who Aldo wrongs by blowing up her house to even make a dent in the powerhouse variant. Alice ropes Aldo into helping her find a new place and uneventful life, in her own words. She acts as your NPC support character during fights. An actual party member, a traveler with a hat named Nate, knows a bit of this phenomenon himself with a gunblade trying to investigate these magus swords, as the game refers to them as. Another character named Ariel, who has to put up with abuse from a rich snobby lord's son with a penchant for striking the fair sex under his employ. Bastard. You save the day in the next dungeon, and she's life indebted to join you, completing your party of 3 playable 1 NPC that randomly heals or buffs said party. After fights, HP always recovers. On easy and normal difficulty, you'll get the MP restoration upon the level up. Weapons come into skills. With other equipment, these skills can be the same, making them overlap and become stronger. Alice acts, as I said, the NPC offering support like healing or stat increases. It's random what she does, though, so. Megami Tensei fans will love this one. Elemental weaknesses. It's kind of simple. There's only 3. Water douses fire, fire scorches earth, earth dries up water. Nail an elemental weakness on an enemy and you'll get an additional attack with that character with a randomly chosen skill from their weapons or stuff that they've learned by just playing through the game. And it's like, oh, your Magisword rank increased. You can do more, you have more attacks at your disposal. The elemental weakness kind of fell by the wayside because there's just some enemies that are like, that counts as void, so they don't get like any. But you can work that as well with equips. So yeah, something that starts at the beginning but falls by the wayside. More on that later. There's also a bit of Wild Arms where you use tools to open parts of a dungeon while you're exploring. They can range from stuff that opens up other parts for treasures, boots to make you twice as fast. I was looking at many areas with the moving floors, that old staple. But none of them were like puzzles with the moving floors, like the little arrow things. They just blocked off treasures hidden behind them. And even the way forward in one particular dungeon. So there's a bit of backtracking involved, but it never feels 100% forced. And you never have to go out of your way to find the tools. You'll just obtain them while you're just playing through the game. So some mechanics from previous EXE-Create games make a return. As I mentioned, the floors, but also the attraction tubes at the start and just before the boss of a dungeon type area to raise and lower encounter rates. Stop on them. It's like, activate this and you'll fight 3 enemies in a row to really grind. 3 battles in a row of enemies, I should say, to grind. Magistones and guild coins are your other currency outside of main gold. Another 4 ranks of guild battles to go through. Usually the stones part comes in real quick, so you can eventually get 1,000 for that 11 item pull. This game, they kind of put a nerf on it. I think I got like 5 Magistones every 10 fights, unless I was able to like break boxes or rocks, and sometimes they'll house the stones as well. I honestly never got that far throughout the whole game to get to the 1,000. I was always spending them on keys to unlock doors to treasure rooms in towns. Another callback. But most of those stones went to purchase tickets, which can buff your EXP gain and attack power. Kind of reminded me of Overrogue in a way. I love that game. Anyway, back to the pets, which also become an afterthought. They're only really used later in the game for fetching items, kind of like a Mega Man X command mission. not a whole mess of pets to pick from, almost all of them found through main game or side quests, which the game is nice enough to point out when they are active so you don't miss any of them. The game really went all out with the weapons and powering them up with synthesizing. Keep some strong ones handy as time goes on. Each character unlocks 2 more weapon slots. So yeah, each character gets 3 weapons. So basically they get 3 attacks a turn. Times the 3 members in your party, that's 9 attacks. And that's not even counting for stuff like speed, where it's like, oh, it's your turn again. You outspeed these monsters, just go. Or sometimes when you attack, your friends will jump in there and attack with them. So yeah, you're usually well armed to wipe out any opposition, save for bosses or metal enemies, but you can just get lucky with them. The level to 999 is more than enough to handle just about anything. EXE-Create knows it's easy, simple platinums, and this game is no exception. Just beat all 3 difficulties of the 4 guild cups, collect enough treasures, kill enough enemies, steps taken, synthesize a number of times, all listed as common, save for 2 rares. One is the cleared all the side quests, and the platinum itself. Which this game takes away the guesswork for those side quests being available, because you basically start with fast travel and can port into any area. If you see a queue on the side of the town or dungeon, there's a side quest ready. You just got to go out and look for it. And some side quests are twofold, meaning as you're completing this one, where you go to complete the side quest, you talk to the client there, and it's like, oh, can you do this for me in the meantime? So you'll get like a kind of a 2-in-1 almost. They'll ask for something in exchange before they give you an item, and then you get that item from them, and then you go back to the first quest. You can go into your quest tab if you've met the requirements, and just hit triangle to teleport smack dab in front of the quest giver for easy completion. There is post-game, but if you accomplish everything previously mentioned and take the final boss out, platinum's yours. I gave it a try and got annihilated even at level 800. But again, none of that's necessary for the plat. The only thing that burned me was like, oh, you can't use your stones to revive in this fight. Why not? Because. That's literally what the text I got said when I died. It was actually, I think, a callback to an earlier game, one of the Alfadias. I forget which one, but it's the blue-haired girl named Anna. I played so many of these I don't even remember. Definitely the palate cleanser I needed after Chrome Wolf Slog. The game doesn't do anything too different, but it's fun to play and simple enough to platinum, joining the myriad of EXE-Create work in the past. I personally wish the pets got more work. You can just spend a turn to summon one very early game when you don't have all 3 party members. It takes a bit longer to work towards getting a full party, but once you're there, and it's a fun time all the way through. I've gone through the easy difficulty and game overed once, and by then I had enough of those stones to fully heal the party and continue one of the tougher guild battles. In this case, enemies get 2 turns to your 1. So I game over and it's like, oh, I have a bunch of these. I could just revive and start the rest of the battle from there fully healed and win. Next game looks to be another simple EXE-Create title in Infinite Links. So that'll do for this episode of Catching Up with Kemco. Until next time, take care and thanks for watching.